Good evening out there in PSN land. Great to have you all out there. Welcome to the show. This is Friday the 9th of May and the weather's wonderful here in the UK. It's 7 p.m. here. It's various times around the world where all of you are watching us, and it's Superbooth week. Yeah. And what that means is I'm here because Robbie isn't. Robbie's over in Germany, in Berlin, doing the whole Superbooth thing, meeting up with bazillions of people. We'll come on to that later, but I think it's probably fair to say that Superbooth and related news will be keeping us busy for almost all the show. We're going to do what we can to make that as get through as much news as possible, and there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot. So we're going to cover what we can. When Robbie gets back next week, we'll doubtless have a whole other input from him about what the show was like and about what he's like, and all of that stuff. So we'll get a real full briefing from him next week with lots and lots of content, I'm sure. But in the meantime, why don't we get on and do our thing whilst I'm just adjusting things. Here we go. Gotcha. Right, so we better take care of the housekeeping, because if Robbie's not here, then someone needs to do it. Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat whether or not the mics are okay. I think mine is okay by the sound of it. But we're going to get on with some housekeeping. So here we are. Friday the 7th, the 9th of May. And don't forget, now that you're watching, to like, comment and subscribe and share wildly. Share with everyone you know, and let people know we're here. The more people we have coming to see us, the more revenue we can generate, hopefully from YouTube, from some views. All of it's tiny amounts of money, but all of it really helps keep this channel going. It's not a cheap thing to do, but we do it. We do it anyway because we love doing this and we like having all of you here. So yes, please do like, comment, subscribe and share. And if you could like now, if you could actually go to that button at the bottom there and like now, to put your likes up, your thumbs down if you like, but prefer thumbs up, because if you do it whilst the show's running, apparently it helps with all the stats and everything, and that's all really good. And we don't want to break this for Robbie, do we? So yes, like, comment, subscribe and share. And of course, please do support us if you feel you'd like to. We have, obviously, we mention this every week, but it's Patreon. You can reach us on patreon.com, ProSynth Network, where for the princely sum of $2 a week as a minimum subscription, you get a whole bunch of content that keeps being uploaded there. We've got all the synthspiration stuff. We have got sound banks from the good and great James and Mark, and I mean so many people are contributing free sound banks up there. We have got special videos, we've got reviews, we've got all sorts of stuff in there, and it keeps getting updated. So if you do manage to join us in Patreon and promise your money, you'll get a whole bunch of stuff which you otherwise wouldn't, and you help support the channel. And you can do the same as well with YouTube. You can subscribe on YouTube for the same kind of sum, and the same deals and the same loveliness is available in there as well, and it all helps. We are visible to the world on YouTube, Facebook, Blue Sky, Twitch, Instagram, Threads and TikTok, although I've never seen us actually. I've never tried TikTok. I don't have it installed, but we're there apparently. So, feel free to watch us on any of those. And of course, don't forget the group, the Facebook group and other such things where there is always lively conversation and some news and gossip going on. And whilst you're here and you're supporting us, don't forget as well that we have merch. Yeah. We have merch. And let me just share this with you. There we go. Merch here. And there's some other people here, but I'm going to just remove those. Here we go. So we've got lovely merch here. And you can buy everything from the Frankie t-shirts, which we still seem to be doing that. We've got bikinis, which I know Andy Brooks is very keen to wear. I've got mine ready to put on. We've got glasses, we've got posters and framed prints, we've got the Justin Havu thing, his lovely tank top, we've got mats, we've got t-shirts, we've got bags and phone covers and pillows and jackets and all sorts of stuff. And every time you buy something from here, a small amount of that will come back in to ProSynth Network, and the coffers will, the funds coming into the coffers will allow us to carry on doing this wonderful thing with you. So I'm going to just go black, of course, because I don't know why really, but I went black. Let me just check the media assets as well, because something on here is not quite what I was expecting. Black. No, we don't want black. We want this. Well, anyway, we want all sorts of things, but we don't have it. So in the meantime, here we are. And the last thing, of course, is as you are watching this, if you have any questions, like what the bloody hell is he saying and can he just get on with the show, then please do pop your question in the chat with a blooming great queue in there. And one of our mods, either the lovely Andrew Brooks, who's joining us tonight, but that's a secret, so you don't know, or possibly if they're joining us, we have the love... Sorry?
Not really here.
Okay, and we have Ben at Musings, who may be joining us, and Andy Synth man, lovely. He'll be here. He usually jumps in at some point, and I always forget. And forgive me, Andy. You're a lovely man, and we like your show. And I think that's pretty much all the housekeeping done, which was a little fast, but probably not quick enough for all of you. So whilst we're here, why don't we see who else is joining us here? I'm sure you've got no idea. None at all. So why don't we, in fact, why don't we go over to the well-esteemed, the much-loved, and the very smelly Mr. Ken Spong.
Hello.
How are you?
Smelly. Mostly smelly.
Who says that?
Oh, I don't know.
You just did.
There was a rumour going around.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I heard anyway. I'm good. How is thee?
Very good. What's that keyboard behind you?
Oh, Motifa, yes.
And that's there because...
A very, very specific reason.
Which is?
It's very specific. I'm working on something. I cannot talk about. Believe it or not.
Secrets.
Secret.
Is it the music for the Pope's coronation?
No.
Because I know you're a big fan. How's your week been?
Difficult, hard, strenuous, annoying, and other such adjectives I can't think of it at the moment. But yeah, lots of that.
You seem to have had your head buried in a lot of different synths, an 80, a mini Moog. What have you managed to get any of them out the door?
Well, I've replaced all but 2 caps in a EMU E4. Yeah, it's 2 specialised caps in it that Fiona ordered for me, which should be here tomorrow. And we'll put them in, and then that's the power supply capped up.
Wonderful. So that's something.
Don't know why.
Well, it's titularly either me or Robbie. It's the E4.
The E4.
Ultra X, E4 X Ultra. But there we go. And shall we see who else is here with us? And I bet no one can guess. Can you?
No, not a clue.
Well, let's ask this man because he might have a clue. Who else is joining? Oh!
No idea. Who is it? Oh, well, stuck with me again. Yeah, I'm that person that seems to fill a seat when Robbie buggers off somewhere.
As long as it's not his seat. And so how are you?
That Robbie. Oh,
how's your week been? How are you doing?
How's the week been? The week has been a week. It has happened. There has been stuff in it, most of which has been non-music related. Doing some music tomorrow, which is a blessed relief. So Hello.
There we go. So one question I do have for you, meant
go
to
on.
ask you before, but didn't because I couldn't care. I really don't care.
Okay.
But I'll ask it anyway. How did the gig with Grace go at the bandstand in Bradford?
What a lovely day. Oh, my wonderful world. Yeah, what a lovely day it was. And I doff of the cap to A Division, who's actually over in Berlin. Adrian Mann is actually in Superbooth, and he's hooked up with the Pro Synth Network people there and a number of other people. So I mean, I'm sitting here now thinking, I so wish I could have gone. But I couldn't make it work at all with my own works, because this time of the year for school teachers is exam season, silly season. You don't. You can't really. Can I have an afternoon off so I can just nip down and get on a plane? No, it's not going to happen. So, yeah, honestly, I looked or I could have caught a plane at 1 o'clock in the morning, which got into then driven halfway across Berlin to get to a hotel to sleep for 3 hours and then go. I just thought, nah, sorry, I can't be bothered with that. And for being 600 quid the lighter, no, it's not happening. Maybe next year I might wangle it somehow, but
So we've been
bandstand. Honestly, that event that Adrian Mann's been sort of has promoted. We did the November one, and then we did this one a couple of weekends ago. It was lovely. Oh my word, it was lovely. I mean, Grace and I put. Well, I can say Grace put a video up. Of our performance. There may well be others to follow, but I can't swear to it. Well,
and can you share that? Can you share that in the chat so we can all have a look at it?
Yes, I can. Just give us a moment. I'll sort it.
Yeah.
There were 10 performers, lots of familiar faces that we know, like Dave Walker, Mo, and just it was just a lovely day, and there was a lot more people who would come and actually stayed. There's sort of a bank going up the back from the bandstand, sort of a grass bank, and people were sitting on there throughout the day. We had upwards of 100 people at times sitting on that bank and watching. It was great, and I made a point when I was playing of going around and just plonking myself with these people and going, "What's brought you here? Did you hear about it? Are you just passing, or did you hear the news?
How long have you been homeless?"
Yeah, basically, questions like that, and people, a number of people, quite a lot of people said, "Oh, it's lovely that you've come and spoken. You're one of the organisers." Well, sort of, not really. I am part of it, but. So I just went and just talked to people and sort of did the PR thing, going around and talking to people, and people really appreciated the fact that I did that. But it was a really lovely day. And if people, we had Sebastian Smith, Septic Smile of the Hardware Jams family, who'd come up from Kent. He'd caught the train from Kent because he played with us at the Sheffield EMOM, and then the next day at Roberts Park in Bradford, and it was lovely to have him with us. And yeah, just a really smashing event. And if anybody's in that area, in that sort of West Yorkshire area, or can travel easily to Bradford, the next one's going to be in October, I think. But
so you're giving us plenty of notice. We will of course make sure it gets lots of coverage.
And I'll stick the link to the Andy and Grace video in the chat.
That's really good. Yeah. So here we all are, gentlemen, and it is Superbooth, and Superbooth is going to be everything is going to derive from that. Everything we're going to be talking about tonight, because it's releasing. There's been a paucity of news over recent shows. Sometimes we've had like 2 or 3 articles, and we've still managed to somehow string it out for 2 hours and make it relevant and interesting, I hope. And unfortunately we don't have Robbie with us, but that's because he is here. Superbooth 25. There's a lot going on. If we just have a look, let's just see events. Let's see what's happening here. Events, there's lots of stuff going on. Ambient Dub Cafe till noon. That's today. And in fact, I think they're probably going out for dinner today. They normally go out for dinner on a Friday as well, don't they, Kent, Andy?
Probably. They got a week.
I know, I've been there. I think they had
Collectively-
a bit of a gathering last night. There was certainly a photo posted with lots of them all together, with some familiar faces in there, including Michel Mokusa.
which is always a good thing. So Michelle's just top lovely gorgeousness, and we've had some. We've already had some.
I'm not certain.
Yeah, we've already had some shots and things through. Some of you will have seen this already, and here is our esteemed leader, Mr. Robbie, standing out like a light bulb on a dark night on Dartmoor.
Got Jim Glue's there, and Andy Marshall.
We've got Anthony Marinelli there at the back.
And
We've got Dr. Manny. We've got
Manny's
Mike.
at the back. Yeah, there's Peter.
Is that
the
Dina
back right?
there?
Is that Dina in the middle?
Peter is just to the right of. He's very tall and just to the right as we're looking at it and behind Robbie. But yes, Dr. Manny, Mike Metley, with Michelle there in the front, but looking as lovely as ever. So yeah, that's a hell of a photograph, isn't it?
Who's next to Michelle? Is that Dina?
No, I don't know who. I don't know who that is.
Oh no, okay. One or two others people around.
She my wife.
Drew Schlesinger's in there, is it? Is Drew Schlesinger? I don't know.
No, he's not. No. I can't see him. But anyway, so let me just turn that off. And yeah, we've had all sorts of lovely photographies, and we've had all sorts of lovely things showing up in the channels, not least of which now. Before we get into the meat and the veg, as it were, of the stuff that we all have been waiting to hear and see, there's been some lovely releases of things, but there was something very, very odd that was posted. I'm not sure if Kent's seen this yet. I don't think he has, but we had these 3 photographs turn up of the Yamaha stand with this.
Oh, the size of it.
I know, it's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's big. And here, what you're seeing here is a custom-built controller, or 2 controllers, one for the ANX engine for the MX series Yamaha, and one for the FMX series. So the ANX is on the left, the FMX is on the right. I'll give you some closer views of these. So this is the ANX engine, as it were, which is it's a lovely-looking thing, and it reminds me a bit of Analog Solution stuff, Ken.
Yeah, it has that vibe, certainly.
And I love the idea of we've been talking for a while, haven't we, gents, about, wouldn't it be lovely if Yamaha released something with that many knobs and with a knob per function set of buttons on, just an ANX keyboard with knob per function. But I'd have that in a heartbeat. And then there's the FMX one as well, which is this one. So all 8 of the FM engines or FM voices operators there. I mean, that's a pretty lovely looking thing. That's a pretty lovely thing. And I think Robbie was as taken aback with it as everyone else. He just went, "What the boo?" Yeah. What do you think, Ken? Is that something which you'd like? Because it looks a bit anaglyph-esque, Analog Solutions-esque. It's. I mean, I know it's a custom build. What's your thoughts on it?
Well, it reminds me of the touch digital controller. Except the touch digital controller replicated the front panel of the software, whereas you can't replicate the front panel of the synth with the controller, because otherwise it would just look like another, M7 or M8. Yeah, it's how much it's going to cost against how easy it makes life for you.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I think I'll just move me back over there. I think this is just a custom. From what I get, this is just a custom built, something built by someone in Japan whose name I don't have. But it's such a lovely looking thing. And, it's on the Yamaha stand. Maybe it's just there to show how complex and wonderfully deep the M8X is. Although it does actually work. There's some video of it working, which I found somewhere, but I wasn't sure if I could put it up here. So we're not going for copyright strikes.
No,
Robbie's just said they're not for sale.
Yeah, well, there you go. It does look like something that was made. You go just to see if it could be made, and go, there you go, it can be made. But tough crap if you want one.
Well, it's a lovely looking thing, though.
Yeah.
So that is the first bit of something from, apart from that wonderful picture of everyone. You are looking very orange, Robbie. Very orange indeed. You did rather stand out, which is always a good thing. Nice choice. And then we've been hearing all sorts of stuff coming out. I'm just wondering, what's the biggest announcement we've heard so far? How about, let me just have a look. How about, it's got to be, should we start with the big news? Because I'm really interested to see what people think about this. Let me just go that, and that, and share screen. And we're going to do a very short clip from a video, which is this. And I'm afraid that's all we're going to show of that, because let's just put us all up. Someone here is going to do this right at some point. So yeah, that is the wonderful Lisa Belladonna doing the demo of the new Moog Messenger, which is an interesting offering coming from Moog at these times. And I will say Moog rather than Moog. I keep getting that wrong, but I'll try to get it right. So let me share this instead. So if I stop presenting that and I start presenting this, here we go. So this is from Moog, the Moog site, Moog. I must do this. Here we go. Let's just add this to the stage. So we've got the Messenger. I don't know if any of you saw the rather mad, this long video which trailered it. I'd love to know what you thought about that, because it was deeply incomprehensible, beautiful looking, and I think it was a bit of a discussion point. Andy, what was your take on that?
Well, that video with the office desk in the field was a bit, I thought, what? Yeah, I just thought it was a bit weird. I much preferred Lisa Belladonna's and the other Moog videos that had been put out. Because Lisa Belladonna could make a fork sound fantastic. So
she could.
The truth is, I actually watched the Loop Up video all the way through the whole lot. This afternoon when I got from work, I got a pop up from the one of the Facebook groups, the Moog Facebook group, and had a look through, and I was shocked actually at the number of negative comments there were about the one. It's cheap, so it looks cheap, it looks tacky, it's plastic, and I just thought, hang on a minute, it's $699. It sounds phenomenal. It's got all of these different wave folding things built into it, and a beautiful modulation matrix. It's not too stupid to use. A great sequencer. Lupop's demonstration of the sequencer was fantastic. But then again, he makes everything fantastic, doesn't he? So, but I just sat and I just thought, how blooming petulant can you get? So I think this is somebody's typed in. I can't remember who it was now. I apologise for missing your name on this one. But Moog for the masses. Do the people grumble about things like the Mavis and those other little Moogs that they've produced. I don't think so. No, I really don't. And I actually think that it's going to find a home in lots and lots of little studios, including this one.
Well, yeah. I mean, let's just deal with that a minute. I want Kent's opinion on whether or not it's tacky or cheap or whatever. Here's the thing: it is cheaper. It's the cheapest Moog for a very long
They're not
time,
giving it away for free, are they?
and it sounds astonishing. And you don't get that kind of sound and this kind of crafting from something. If it's in a premium case with wooden end cheeks and that, then you're starting to get up into the thousands. I think this is a really. It's not even an entry level. It's such an accomplished synth. I'm looking at this with deep envy at the moment. Well, not envy, deep lust.
Yeah,
deep lust and longing.
It's actually pretty deep, Synth.
It looks very deep. Ken, did you manage to have a look at this at all? And do you have any thoughts about it? Have you heard the demos?
I had a quick listen to it. Funny enough, Lisa's video. Yeah, I mean, this is filling the spot that used to be occupied by things like the Rogue, the Multi-Moog, that neck of the woods, right?
And in recent years, sub 25, which
exactly, that kind of thing. And it's always good, when you got a product range, you've got to be able to fill the various slots depending on people's pockets. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a Moog, right? It's a Moog. You want a Moog sound? There you go. In regards to people saying, it looks cheap, plastic case. Yeah, but you want that price, so make up your fucking minds, right? If you want it under 1,200 quid, it's going to be made with a plastic case. It's it's just straightforward, simple economics. I don't know why people are bitching about it. It's got lots of functions that takes it deeper than you would with a Rogue or a Multi-Moog would, and a Multi-Moog is going to cost you a hell of a lot more than that bloody thing is. So stop bitching about it, people. Okay. I love the sound. I already own a Mini Moog, but I have indicated to my dear wife that perhaps one of these might be coming into the studio at some point very soon.
Well, here's the thing. It's my birthday very soon, and my wife keeps saying, "I never know what to get you." And I think probably 699 is a bit of a stretch, but maybe we could do a splitzer on it or something, because I think, I've mentioned to a few people I'm desperately after a Mini Moog, a Model D, because it's just, after playing the one that you restored, Ken, I want it. I want one back in my life. They're just the best things. But this would be a very good step on the journey to getting that to keep as well. I think it sounds astonishing. I think, and Andy mentioned about the wave folding and various other variable wave shape sub oscillator as well. Mm-hmm. It's a really good sounding thing, and the modulation possibility, the sequencer as well, as you mentioned, Andy, it's a good thing, and the spec isn't bad at all. Here we go. Let's just come back to
be honest with you, in addition to that, I mean, if people want an Indian rosewood or mahogany case for it, my number.
Yeah. Do you know what, Ken? I might just do.
And I'd make that front panel sit up and beg like the Mini.
Whee!
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you think that's what people actually are wanting? Because I mean, the sub 37 and the sub 25, that panel comes upwards, it slopes upwards.
Yeah.
Which is the sort of like the Moog attitude, and maybe because this actually is just simply a flat thing that looks like the polysynths of Korg or whatever.
Yeah.
Or I wonder if that's part of it. If that had been hinged so that it came upwards, to sit at 45 degrees, everyone would be going, "It's magnificent! Look at it." I wonder. I
True
don't
enough,
know.
but you wouldn't be buying it for $699.
It would
No,
add.
you
It
wouldn't.
would add.
And that's the
this is
bottom
true.
line. That is the bottom
And I
line.
think that's what they've done. They're going, right, hang on a minute. People are making choices about their synthesizer purchases. Do they spend 250 quid on a Behringer, or do they? If they've got 700 quid to spend, do they go? Well, I'll have that and that and that from Behringer.
Yeah.
Because if I think they've pitched this extraordinarily well, and I think they're going to sell really well. I mean, I think there's probably 3 purchases here.
Yeah, is the answer to that. Absolutely. It's a lovely looking thing. It's a lovely sounding thing. I'm already sold on it.
Me
I wonder
too.
what Robbie makes of it. I wonder if Robbie will get one. But yeah, that's.
Tell them it needs patch cables.
This is a lovely looking thing. This is a lovely looking thing. So I'm just going to. Yeah, so the price is good. The sound is good. It's an entry level at a price point that really works to that Moog sound with all this additional new stuff. It is still all analog, but wave shaping, and even with the sub oscillator. That's the thing with the sub oscillator, with also variable wave shapes. That's doing what carrying an awful lot of what the Model D used to do, which is have that third oscillator to do either modulation or to provide the low end grunt. And this also has LFO, and that's routable, and you can play around with the envelopes and things. 2 LFOs. I mean,
second LFO's basic, but hey, what would you want?
Ken, if I get one, will you turn it into a sit up and beg and put a rosewood something on it?
Yeah, if you want.
Yeah. I think you might have sold me.
Better start saving now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know. And let's just see. There's some bloke here.
Do you get the feeling
Hello,
you're not
Mr.
trusted? Do you get the feeling you're not being trusted?
Yeah. Good evening, gents. How is Superbooth?
Wonderful. Yeah, big and impressive. And that's just Michelle.
But you're sounding sober at the moment. That's not a good sign.
Yeah, we've had 2. We've only, so we had 2 pints and dinner, and that's it. But we've been watching. Yes.
To be fair, it is still daylight there.
Yes, it is. And are you off somewhere else now?
Look at us in matching official Superbooth Pro Synth Network shirts.
Oh my goodness
We have
me!
uniforms and shit.
Posers.
Jesus, that means we're all in trouble, Ken. So tell us, gents, what's been the highlight? Has there been anything that's made you go, "Whoa, bloody hell"?
2 things we can't talk about.
That
for one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, seriously, I listened. I heard what you said, Mr. Brooks. By the way, thank you again for stepping in. You were absolutely spot on. I saw the same thing. I think people saying, "I haven't heard it yet, but it doesn't really look like a proper Moog. I mean, it's all plastic and shit."
It's not.
It's not all plastic. Number one. Number two. Have they forgotten Polymoog, Sonic 6,
Source.
and all those other cheap and crappy Moog?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it has
Some of the better sellers.
an ABS glass reinforced ABS chassis and a metal top surface, and it is
brilliant.
heavy. The keyboard is wonderful. It's got aftertouch.
Yeah.
There is no menus on it. Everything is knob per function.
Yeah.
You know exactly what you're doing. Classic mode workflow.
Left to right.
It's brilliant, and it's £699.
Yeah.
And that's not because of America. That's because Jack O'Donnell has come in to save a business from going under.
Yeah, absolutely with you on that, Robbie. I can't say there's anything to grumble about. I looked at that Moog Lovers website, Facebook thing, and I got so annoyed really quick. I thought, I'm sorry. I mean, remember the cork sniffers? It was a bit of that. I'm sorry, it really was.
Yeah,
and I just
it
thought,
sounds like a Moog. It looks like a Moog. It is a Moog, but it's a Moog that's made to. It is absolutely made to be the universal Moog for everyone.
Good.
Everyone will
And well
want one
done
of
to them.
these. Everyone will be able to afford it. It's $699 for crying out loud.
It's going to be tomorrow's classic.
So doing a quick straw poll here. How many of us are going to get one?
At some point.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what that means from this small poll, that means that they're going to sell approximately 7 or 8 billion units, because everyone here has said that. If you extrapolate that out to the world population, they've just made Moog are going to sell 8 billion of these.
And that is the very reason, because they were days away from disappearing off the face of the planet. And Jack O'Donnell, whether you love him or hate him, has this reputation for saving companies. It might take a little while. It might take some products that some people might not expect that company to make. But he's there to make the business work. And he needs to make synths that will sell. And they've not made any real compromises with this. People are going, oh, it's made in China. Take a look on the box of your Moog Muse. Take a look on the box of all your previous Moogs. They're all made in Taiwan or China, or assembled. All the components are made out there and maybe assembled in Asheville.
Assembled in the
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily be made in the USA.
And the thing is, they've added a whole heap of other functionality in here now as well, which means
it's got this amazing 4-pole, 2-pole, bandpass, high pass.
It's got all these different filters. It's great.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
And it's £699 English pounds.
Go buy one. You won't regret it.
If you can get in the queue.
Yeah.
Well,
there's enough of them.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a queue I'm going to be. I think they're going to do incredibly well. And Jack, we've said this. I remember when Moog Music was taken over by Jack O'Donnell, and there was an awful lot of suspicion and naysayers. But I think we all felt that if anyone could help turn it around, anyone saving it was a good thing. And if anyone could turn it around, he would. And despite what some may think of him, this kind of thing is what he does, and this is going to lead to a resurgence. And if they sell lots and lots of these, guess what? There will be more and more Moog products coming out, which is great.
If you want more, top of the range Moogs,
you need to buy the little ones.
You need to sell those little ones. So
yeah,
true.
I'm delighted. So what do you? So there's the Messenger. Anything else that's caught your eye whilst you're there? I know you're going to come back next week and do a lot of talking about
We've
stuff.
done a good film on it, actually. So
so there's a 15-minute Eric Norlander demonstration that he did exclusively for. I mean, he's been doing it exclusively for other channels, but we've got Eric Norlander demonstrating the Messenger to us directly. So that's unfortunately we're not Nick back. So we can't get the videos out until I get home and get them edited. So it'll be a week or so. But and we've got another one we're filming tomorrow with the guys from Fractals, my lovely Italian compatriots, with the wonderful Magnolia. We couldn't wait, unfortunately. We couldn't wait until tomorrow. We actually went to see it today, and it is a lovely, lovely thing.
It is.
Does it sound? Does it sound good? Because
yes.
Big.
Big.
This is a big 8-voice analog with some wonderful, sound design built in. There's no effects in it yet. They haven't finished the effects, but they will come in. And they've done a very clever thing, so you'll be able to select a lot of effects and the order that you put them in the chain. So, but it's it's a really lovely thing. So we'll get more info from that tomorrow.
And they're looking to release that sometime in the summer, aren't they?
In the summer for $3,995 US, I believe.
Wow!
So it's a premium product, but it's a boutique instrument. But I genuinely thought it was going to be sort of $5,000.
Yeah,
and it's not.
Yeah,
so that's good. Bento,
Well,
that's another one that Ken's just mentioned. The 1010 Music Bento is a cracking little thing.
Yeah,
absolutely brilliant little thing. Tell us more about that, because there's not an awful lot about it here. So is it essentially a recorder and a sampler? And does each sample track, if you have samples, are the sample tracks polyphonic instruments, or is it just one sample per track?
Oh yeah.
They are.
No.
It's 24-bit sampling. It's this wonderful, lovely, crystal clear 7-inch touchscreen, 16 pressure and velocity sensitive pads that feel really nice.
It's a weighty.
Yeah, it's a nice solid.
It's not going to fly off the desk.
This is squarely aimed, I think, at people that would use a laptop and Ableton, but it's done with a linear sequencer. So this is why I took to it immediately, because that's what I like. And so you get piano rolls and all sorts of things. It's got myriad effects and the wonderful pads, nice mixer, and of course you can use the touchscreen for the mixer. So it's very intuitive. It's 1010 music, knocking it out of the park again. It's going to be a little out of people's reach. It's like 1,049 US, but it's
1,049 euros. Yeah.
Yeah, euros. Sorry. So what's that make it? It's going to be like 999 UK.
Yeah.
But I've
seen it listed cheaper.
There's an awful lot for the money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it listed already at 899. I don't
really
know at that. Yeah.
Wow.
Then I think
we'll
that's
just have
spot on.
to see.
I mean, you've got multiple audio ins and outs and MIDI ins and outs at the back, so you can use it to bring in stuff from other things and spit out audio, as well as bring in MIDI and spit out MIDI. It really is this kind of like door replacement thing. It's very cool.
Does it have built-in mics?
No, but it has built-in Andrews and Kents. they didn't know a mic, so they didn't.
Very good.
I don't honestly, to be serious, I don't know. I didn't see anything, but it was in a booth environment.
There was quite a lot of jack sockets on the back.
Yeah. While you're here, Robbie, Torsten has just asked if you saw the Urs or the Zebra 3. I don't know what they are. So
every time I've walked past the Yuhi tent, it's understandably quite busy.
Yeah.
I've been specifically looking to accost Mr. Scar.
He's never there.
And he's never there, or he's very busy. So I will try again tomorrow.
I did stick a camera in there today, though.
Yeah. But they're demonstrating all sorts of lovely things, including the Eurorack bits and bobs, I think.
Watch this space, Torsten.
Yeah. Don't rely on us. No. Rely on
Nick Bat.
Yeah, rely on Nick. In fact, can I just also mention, and I'll probably go into more detail about this next week, but this year is 30 years of Sonic State. 30
Oh, wow.
years.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
And it's not only is that amazing, but Chris, also known as MIDI Error, who works for Nick at Sonic State, amongst many other things, and he was the gentleman who got us Don Morley a couple of weeks ago. So he's a big supporter of ours, but he works for Nick, and he emailed me a few weeks ago and he said, "Can you do like a 30-second piece to camera and just tell people what you think of Sonic State, because it's their 30th anniversary?" So we did, and a whole bunch of us did it, and they managed to keep it secret from Nick until they managed to get him into the auditorium, which is a big auditorium at Superbooth. And Andreas came onto the stage, Herr Schneider, and it was very emotional. This room full of people celebrating Nick back 30 years of amazing stuff. And
it was lovely. I saw a Dots video of it. They put that up, and I sat and watched that. I thought, oh, that is so nice. It was a lovely glow moment, and I so much to be there.
We sat on the front row, me, Peter, and Dave Spears, because Dave was like, "Nick's gonna fucking hate this." Nick is very self-effacing, and he doesn't take compliments easily. But he took it all very, very well. The highlight was Gaz and Non-Eric being pulled on stage in a cart to sing "Happy Birthday," Stevie Wonder's "Happy Birthday" to Nick, which was brilliant, with Herr Schneider on tambourine. But probably the best bit, and all these videos, including my embarrassing effort, are going to be going up onto the Sonic State channel. But the best one, and this ties in with what somebody else said in the chat, was Florian Pills. who did. I mean, I was sort of choking up thinking about it because it was so hilarious. It was classic Bad Gear with all of the memes, but they were all Nick Bat memes. So all the PWM stuff, all the big sort of eggheads. It was glorious. The whole place was killing themselves laughing. So so shout out to Nick Bat, because without Nick Bat, as I said in my video, we wouldn't be doing this. No.
Nick Bat, 30 years. That's amazing.
It's wonderful.
Always a privilege when I get to go on that show and speak with Nick and just hang out with Nick at these events. And 30 years.
Wow. 30 years. Jesus, what was the first thing like he did? Sonic State. That was the website, wasn't it?
Yeah, the website, selling bits and bobs, and it was just a bonkers idea that 3 or 4 of them came up with, and Andy and Nick have kind of taken it on and made it what it is. And they're the first to do video reviews, the first to do videos from shows.
Yeah.
And Andreas is a huge fan, which is why he insisted that this happens. So,
good move.
It's good stuff.
Oh, that's really cool.
Well,
that's
that's
really cool.
That's absolutely one of the highlights this year.
Highlight, yeah.
And how was the meal last night? Well,
we're finding plastic.
Go on, tell us.
So Muggins here says, I've got the address of the restaurant, and Google tells me that we get off at this station and we cross over and do.
We could see it.
We could see it, but
there was railway lines in front of us.
we couldn't get to it. But we eventually got there, so we were a little bit late. But we were late because we came out of the Sonic State thing a little bit late. So, but we got there and it was wonderful.
It was good.
And
good natters.
Michelle and I had a nice long chat. You had a long chat with James Terrace.
Yeah, brilliant chat. Yeah.
Drew was there. Manny was there. Mike Metley was there, and Diana, that's Diana, not Dina, by the way, in that picture.
Diana, that's who it was. Yeah.
From Bukes. Yeah.
And of course, Anthony Marinelli and Dante, his son, who we know very well, and we've hung out with a bit this week. They've been super cool and doing lots of cool things, and it was great. It was really good. It's always good we can't not mention Carl Bedford and Ben Breslin, who did all the organisation.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So
great guys. And just whilst you're still here, Peter, you've been very sort of you've agreed with an awful lot. What was have you had any specific highlights made?
Yeah.
Go on, what?
Wet tub that we're not really allowed to mention, but it's fantastic.
We saw what Paul Whittington. See, I always get his name
PWM.
wrong. So Paul Whittington has a very special lunchbox, and the contents of that lunchbox,
a euphemism,
are spectacularly good, but we can't tell you about it. It
blew our minds, literally.
I got a question.
I think this probably is a euphemism.
I got a question.
Go on, then.
Go on.
So, what's it been like sleeping together?
Oh, very nice,
it's
very
lovely.
cozy. Yeah,
because it looks like a nice bed. I must admit.
Yeah,
quite comfy. Yeah.
It looks
Spooning is brilliant.
My bed buddy.
keep you warm, doesn't it?
Split matters, and one of us generally always fall down the middle.
Yeah.
Has
anybody farted?
But seriously, watch
this space.
The current time frame is about a year from now. But what Paul Whittington has got in his lunchbox
is so futuristic you would not believe it.
Yeah.
It's way out of anything I've ever seen in my life.
Stunningly.
We shall talk offline, no doubt.
And he's going to come on the show.
Yeah.
So
wait.
So we've got Paul Whittington coming on. We'll try and remember his name. The thing is, Paul, bless him, one of the loveliest guys in the business. Looks like Andy Bell. Every time I start talking to him, I've got like erasure going in my head.
Yeah.
He's lovely, so yeah.
Oh, did you get to speak to Jürgen?
So many things. I keep remembering them.
Peter and I had a very special, what do they call it? Clandestine. Yeah. Shall we say a synth mafia moment? With Arturia.
I got to play something beautiful.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
And the tune was pretty good as well.
You're trying to make me bankrupt or something. Oh no, I already am.
Beautiful.
So let's just say that I was expecting to see one new thing, and we saw 3 new things. None of them are mind-blowingly they're not Polyroot 12 impact stuff.
Oh,
which mine is being held in customs at Stansted Airport.
at gunpoint, probably.
Yeah.
Really? Still.
But still, yeah.
Yeah.
Although I did send off the documentation this evening, so hopefully that will get released. But yeah, three new things. Some really cool stuff coming from them, and we won't have to keep stum about that for very long. It's not mind blowing, but it's very good. What else have we seen?
We had a good go on the TO5 again.
TO5,
And I really love it now.
we were
Really?
Rubbing shoulders with the
So
Rich and famous one.
there was me and Pete, and there was Dave Spears and Will Gregory. And Will Gregory's never played the TO5.
I said, have a go on this, Will.
So, yeah, we're watching Will Gregory testing out a TO5. And then later on, I haven't told you this, Pete, later on, I came across Will and I don't think it was Dave, it was somebody else, testing the Osmos. And Will's never played an Osmo, so I got some video footage. Was it Adrian Utley?
Oh, Adrian, of course, yeah.
Because Adrian Utley's been there as well. So
Adrian Utley, blimey.
yeah. Dan Miller wandered past.
Yeah.
Mute Records.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else? What other cool things? Oh, I just thought of something that went right out of my head. We saw the Modal Carbon 8X.
Very nice.
The new one.
The new one, which is just the extended version of the existing one, but it sounds really, really nice.
Nice keyboard as well.
Yeah, very nice. And Christian from Modal, bless him, and Barry as well. They're going to be coming on the show. They're two really interesting guys, and what they've done at Modal to keep that company going is incredible. So,
that's a story that needs to be told. And they need, sort of big hand to them as well, because everyone was naysayers on that. I'm really glad they've managed to keep it going, and I hope they do really well with that.
And the inimitable Bob Coover from Groove Synthesis with the brand new Third Wave 8M, which is a lovely thing. I mean, it's essentially a cut down third wave. So you've gone from 24 voices to 8 and from 4 parts to 2 parts.
It's got a bigger screen.
Bigger screen, smaller footprint, and is backwards compatible with the patches to the limitations of 8 voices and 2 parts. But yeah, it's a really nice thing. And it's
under £2,000, 1999.
Just under £2,000.
Which is I mean, that's a lovely thing to have, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's got to be, that's something else to look at, I suppose. What else was there? Did you, Kent asked if you saw Jürgen.
Did you get to see him?
No, I didn't get a chance to go today, so I'm going to see if I can try and do that tomorrow.
See Kenton, though.
Yeah, we went to see your mates, Kenton, who've got this wonderful new, or an updated version of their 19-inch MIDI patch bay. Which supports now full-size MIDI, USB MIDI, and this new one supports network over MIDI cable.
Yeah.
So
how many ins and outs on that?
10 ins, 10 outs with traditional MIDI, and then I can't remember how much there was for the USB MIDI. Probably either 4 or 8, and then I can't. The networking bit was a very new thing.
Tasty looking.
And
that sounds like something. I'm looking at another MIDI interface. I mean, I've got the MIDI Sport, but I like to be able to combine USB and 5-pin in.
It's essentially its core function is a patch bay. It's a MIDI patch bay, but because it's got USB, it will absolutely function as a MIDI interface. Yeah. So I was very interested in that. That would go very well in my studio rack in the desk.
Might have to have a word with John.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah, I mean, we dropped your name.
You said, "Is Ken here with you?"
Yeah, and then when we said no, he said,
he goes, "Yeah, he's in my bag."
Yeah.
No, too much swag in my bag.
Oh yeah, we got lots of swag.
Oh, did you?
I left I had a very special ProSynth Network 32-ounce insulated drinks bottle.
Yeah. What did you do with that? What happened? Tell us.
I left it on the S-Bahn. Somebody on the S-Bahn, either on lines S3, S5, or S7, has copped a rather nice metal insulated ProSynth Network.
Singing to us.
Yeah.
You'll see it up on eBay. Only one of 2 in the world.
And I also lost my hotel room key last night as well. So.
Yeah.
Oh, you lost what?
You didn't have a very good day yesterday.
No.
And have you seen?
Things. I said, well, the third thing, you better install Mike Metley, but then something else happened. So that didn't happen.
No.
That didn't work either.
And are you going out for dinner with Mike tomorrow, or?
No, that happened Wednesday. So I went out with Mike on Wednesday, and then we went on to the Neumann pre-Superbooth party, which was held at Neumann's head office, which was not very large, and there was so many people. So we didn't stay incredibly long, but we did bump into our friend Mark Reeder, had a little catch up with him. Hopefully going to try and see him tomorrow. So we had dinner I had poutine, the traditional German dish of Canadian poutine.
Yeah.
And we've got a great tour of the Synthesizer Museum on Sunday.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, you're going because they've opened or are staying open specifically, aren't they? For Synth Booth. That's really, really good.
Yeah. So
really,
Stefan,
really
who runs the place, saw that I bought tickets for me and Peter and said, "Oh no, I will give you a personal tour, guided tour." So we'll hopefully be filming that as well.
Oh, that would be really cool.
Yeah.
That would be really cool.
You've become such a celeb, Robbie.
No,
Brilliant, isn't it?
And I kept getting stopped by lots of people
Yeah.
who say, "Hey Rob, great show." It's very humbling when people come up and tell us how good the show is and how much they love it and enjoy it and watch it all the time. But the thing is, when they introduce themselves, they naturally say, "Oh, hi, my name is John," or whatever. And I'm like, I don't know who you are. You have to tell me your YouTube name.
Yeah.
So, but we did meet lots of lovely people, and the show seems to be going down well, which is always good.
Good.
Excellent. Well, it sounds good. So,
did you get to talk to Arturia about?
No, because the guys that I needed to talk to weren't there. But I've been told that if I contact certain people, I'll be able to get an answer on that.
Yeah, because that might be an idea. I don't know.
I have another miniature Arturia story, which has really pissed me off. So Peter and I did a walk around the whole. So I took one half of the site, and Peter took the other, and so that footage is all going to get edited. And we'll have a wander around the place. And as I came to the end of my bit, which was in the section which is basically a gymnasium that's been sort of converted for this thing, I get to the Arturia booth where there's a crowd of people watching the Polybrute demo. And I spy this gentleman in a baseball cap, and I think, is it? It was Frederick Brune, the co-founder of Arturia.
Wow.
Who has said some very nice things about the work that we do. And I thought, I've got to speak to him. I've got to say hi and introduce myself. And by the time I'd sort of quickly rushed the end of the footage, he disappeared. And he'd gone into he was literally, I could not find him. He was spirited away. So I didn't get my chance. No. Well, hopefully he'll be there, but maybe.
Yeah. And have you heard any more? 'Cause I don't know why this fascinates me as much as it does. Korg Resonator. Is it there? Are they saying anything?
Yeah, we had a good look at that.
What's it called? The something 8.
Yeah.
I can't remember
Because
the name.
it was 5.
It's going to be released. It's going to be released. They said to us last year it's going to be released in 2025. Now they're telling us definitely Q1 2026. But it does very much look a finished product now. So
just remind us, Robert, is that funny electroacoustic thing?
Yes, it's tines over sensors, and I unfortunately it's very popular, so there's always very crowded around there, and so I didn't get a huge amount of time, but I did stop and listen to someone playing some stuff, and it did sound very, very nice. And another guy was saying, how one of the developers was, how they, you can slacken off the tines so they become very mobile, and you can use it for drums as well as tonal stuff. So it's so it's a very interesting and unique thing. But Tats was there doing his stuff, being sickeningly genius-like.
Yeah.
So.
And Nick's asked, did you get to play on the Korg finger piano?
That's the thing. That is it.
Yeah.
That is it.
Yeah, and we didn't get a chance to play it because there's just so many people around it. But there's still tomorrow. You never know.
There's still tomorrow. There is still tomorrow. Well, it's fab to see you. You're looking a little tired.
We are.
We're a lot tired.
Yesterday we slept very well.
Yeah. But we had a very busy day on the Thursday because we got there early because we had our appointment with Eric to do our video, and then when we got there, Gearspace were doing their video ahead of us, and they messed it up. So Eric had to do his presentation 3 times before they got a take.
Yeah, so we needed a break.
So he needed a break. We was everything got kind of put behind, and then
when we finished, the professionals turned up.
Yeah. Nick Bat was behind us in the queue, which wasn't intimidating much.
No.
Is the greatest videographer of the synthesizer world. Just stood there, tapping his fingers, waiting for me to finish. But no, he was great, very gracious. And then we were there till 7:15.
Yeah.
And then we went straight for the meal, and we got back here about
11ish.
11, sort of 10:30. So it was a very long day yesterday.
And Nick's also asking about ESI. I know they have something they've launched, which an ambient something. Is that right?
Well, they've got this little keyboard that I think they bought the IP from CME.
Yeah.
They've made something from that, but we were so engrossed with what Paul was doing with his lunchbox that they're in the same tent because they use the same distributor. We were very.
There's a story there
about Paul's lunchbox.
Yeah, so 2 of you in a room with 1 bed, and you're talking about Paul's lunchbox. I mean,
I know it's going to end messy.
No wonder they're tired.
Yeah,
Tired and sore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a district in Berlin?
Yeah.
Tired and sore.
Yes. Because we have our wonderful leatherware shop
just next door.
Next door to the hotel.
Cool.
So we've been taking
Give me
turns
a thong.
to go in there.
Spiky pants.
Yeah.
And spikes inwards.
Well, listen, it's good to see. Do you want to? Shall we carry on doing our thing now and share with you, or are you going to bugger off?
Me and Peter are going to go to bed separately.
Different rooms.
Yeah, you say that.
Well, one gets in first, and then the other one gets in.
Penthouse room here.
Ah.
It's adult to use condoms. Just so you know. There we go. Even leather ones. Listen, you take care of yourselves.
Yeah.
Will do.
Great work. Can't wait to see some of the stuff you've done, and we'll just go and turn this into a car crash now for the rest of the
enjoy the rest of
the time. We will
cover those Yamaha controllers again because I had to change my underwear.
Oh, a bit. Steve the bastard in Australia has said he's going to build one for me, but I've a feeling he means a screen-based thing. I want the hardware, but
these things are so well built. Yeah. I mean, they look like. I mean, genuinely, people are going.
We thought
this is a production thing but it's not. It's some guy in Japan who unfortunately was too unwell to come out to the show, but he's built these. If you open them up at the back, it's a bird's nest, but on the front, it's beautiful. I mean,
they look like Analog Solutions kit.
You do.
We do.
Yeah.
Well, that's
They really do.
You've got an invite for the synth space as well, haven't you?
Oh yes, Yamaha Synth Space. We'll be doing a ProSynth Network exclusive tour of the Yamaha Synth Space at some point in the future. We were planning to do it this week while we were out here, but unfortunately, Yamaha, who own the place, had the audacity to have some sort of Yamaha conference and some their video shoots of their own.
How dare they?
How dare they?
How very dare they?
I don't know.
Our friends at Yamaha UK, so the wonderful Steve Beeston, had a chat with Klaus, who's a bit high up in Yamaha Europe, who then spoke to this wonderful guy called Ulf, and Ulf basically holds the keys to the synth studio. So if Ulf says we can go in, and Ulf said, of course, tell me when you want to come in, give us a few days' notice. So I'll be making a trip back to Berlin at some point, and we'll walk around this wonderful space and play things like CS80s, VP1s, VL1s, the lot. It's all there. So,
oh my lord! Oh my lord!
I have a parting question for Robbie.
Go on.
and I'm going to be deliberately provocative. Did you even so much as look at a single Eurorack module?
Of course I didn't. No. No, I did. I did when I did my walk around video, and you'll be able to see that.
Yeah.
I lingered long over things like the warthog, which I saw in the flesh.
Okay, cool. Yeah, yeah.
And a few other bits. Of course, I have no idea what they're called or what they do.
She likes.
But there were lots of people huddled over looked like they'd been dragged out of their mother's basements. Their pasty skin and spots.
Okay, Robbie.
Many years drooling over this stuff.
Here's the thing, and we're going to cover this in shortly, actually. But you did mention about Fractals, the Fractals Magnolia.
Yeah.
That they make Euro rack stuff, and look at
Going the right way.
there we go. I know.
To their senses.
They make Euro rack stuff, and this is this is taken from that, and it's put into this keyboard form.
Yes,
and it has at the moment. I'm not sure if it's going to continue to have CVs in and outs, etc. But that I don't think they've quite made their minds up. But that's something which should be of interest.
One of the models we saw had CV in and out on it, as well as MIDI.
I wonder if that will be an expansion.
No, I think they'll determine whatever it is they determine, and then that'll be it. But everybody was getting very. I mean, when we left today, we walked out with Anthony and Dante, and they said, "Oh, we're going over to the bungalow, Dolph." And I said, "Oh, first stop," and he said, "Fractals," and I said, "Yeah." So everybody's talking about it. It is one of the surprise hits of the show, and they're really cool guys. The team are really, really cool.
Have you given Dieter Dupfer a look in? Because it's also 30 years since the introduction of the Eurorack.
Again, it's Eurorack, but
we will put the camera in there tomorrow. We're going to do that.
We'll try. We'll try and do that.
Thank you.
Very cool. Very cool, gentlemen. You do look tired. Go and have a snooze.
Have a lovely night.
Go and finish destroying my show for me, and
we'll it'll be a car crash. Try not to slip into each other.
We'll try not to.
You'll be coming back to this sort of like burnt husk, basically,
with a sore bottom.
Yeah,
sounds like my wife
and the messenger.
Anyway,
that was the last time I saw him, officer.
Anyway. It wasn't a pub, but now it is. Right, listen, great to see you, gents. Thank you for popping in. Really, really good to have your input, and you're going to no doubt do a full thing. I was just wondering, before you go, next week when you do your recap of everything that's Superbooth, can we get Peter in to also join us, do you think?
Yeah,
happy with that. Yeah.
I think that would be really, really good because, the both of you together.
Yeah.
Might see if we can get some of the other people that we've been hanging around with to jump in and give us their top of the tape. Honestly,
that could be
you go around the corner sometimes and you see people. You see this little gaggle of like Manny Fernandez, Drew Schlesinger, James Terrace, and they're just literally. They're even on the train last night. They're in this little huddle. They're just talking patch design.
Oh, I know.
It's bonkers.
But the stories they come out.
Oh. Yeah.
James, I play for Neil Diamond's band.
Yeah. Because we've had James on the James Terrace. He's a lovely guy. Does a lot of the Cherry Audio stuff. So
yeah, he does. Yeah. He's a very lovely man.
Yeah. Anyway,
right. Well, that go on.
We're going to leave. I'm going to go to bed now.
Yeah.
Bye, Robbie.
Separately.
Can I go to the loo now?
One gets in, then the other gets in separately.
Yeah. Yes, you can, Andrew. I will mute this and then we'll just drop you out for a second. Gents, have a really good night's sleep and we'll no doubt catch up with you later on.
Okay. Have fun, everyone.
You take care. Have a great day tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. And there they go. Indeed. Oh, that was lovely. That was really cool to have them come in.
Well, strangely, we managed to cover a lot of stuff.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's still a few things we haven't covered, which we can be talking about. And I was going to wait for Andy to come back because there is a video I want to play if I can find.
Somebody was asking about why I had the Motif ES out if I've got an M8X. The reason was there's a very specific sound I wanted that was on her. And I couldn't be asked to try and recreate it again on the M8X. It was quicker to just pull her out and plug her in.
Do you know, I'm finding recreations are becoming much, much faster now on the M8X. It is becoming, on the ANX, particularly engine, I'm really, really flying around that now. So, yeah, I'd love to hear at some point we should do some sort of patch off. This is the patch. Can you recreate it on? That could be fun.
Yeah.
I've
actually been actually using this in anger.
Have you at last?
Yeah, at last. And been creating some sounds on there that for this project that I'm working on. Yeah, it's nice having, just stuff there that you can just reach to. A lot to be said for knob per function.
Thank you.
Good Slash?
Satisfying. It was necessary.
There we go. So an awful lot of ground has been covered with Robbie and Peter coming in, it was great to see them, and it was really good to hear their sort of feedback on this. But I've got a video that I can play, which I think would be good to have. So if I come to here, there we go. I'm just going to bring this up and let's see what we have. I would love to know what people think of this. Here we go. And there we go. So that, in case anyone is blind, is the PPG 1002 synthesizer. So this is something that was originally built by, was it Cornel Hecht and Wolfgang Palm? And I think they only made like 100 units of the original, something like that, around about 100 units of the original. They've grown to become very popular and very expensive if you try and find them on the second-hand market. And this is the news that they are they are launching these, and these are now for sale. I can tell you about the price if you want, or shall we say that so we've got that?
Let's save it.
Now let's get the elephant out in the room. So this is a brilliant synth. This is a brilliant synth, and I'm just, whilst we're doing that, I'm going to stop that screen, and I'm going to bring up the screen which talks about, where are we? I know it's here somewhere. Blah 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 blah. Oh, I can't seem to find it. Where is it? There. Right, hang on a moment. So let's share this. So this is it. It's a wonderful beast, and it sounds amazing. But if you want one, you've got to put down a deposit of near as damn it 5,000, and then pay the balance, which is another 5,000 on delivery.
Yep.
Gentlemen, your thoughts. This is a piece. This is something which you should be qualified to talk about a little here. Andy, would you like to give us your thoughts?
Oh, I mean, the original one was used by Tangerine Dream, so all of us Tangerine Dream heads would know about this machine and go, "Oh, yes, please! Isn't it wonderful?" And then they say it'll cost you 10,000 quid. And yes, I go, "Oh dear, what a shame." It's, from my point of view, it's wonderful that they are remaking it, and the original people, Wolfgang Palm himself, and the other co-collaborators, if that's the case,
Cornel Hecht.
So that this machine is back, and Yeah, I'm sure it's a gorgeous synth, but did you hear? And this is my question: did you hear 10,000? I mean, you look at a Colossus and all of that stuff, and you go, "Yeah, I can understand why that's £25,000." With this one, I sort of I'm scratching my head and going, if they said it was £5,000, I'd have gone, "Yeah, I can see it." £10,000. Yeah, I know they're going to be hand built by individual components, and those end cheeks are handcrafted premium grade platinum or something. I'm not sure that that's true, but I'm just projecting. You know, I just think I can't help but think that £10,000 is just an incredible amount of money for a monosynth, you know, regardless of how you dress it up.
Kent.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. Let's just, yeah.
Yeah, it's 10K, and there's a single reason for that. It has PPG written on the front panel.
yes, quite good.
And it's the same thing as you know, you can go to the shops and back in a smart car, or you can go to the shops and back in a Bentley. Both do exactly the same thing, but one of them's a Bentley.
Yeah,
And that's what this is. The PPG name is what you're paying for. Not trying to put down the unit or anything like that. It's just that's what it is.
I'm conflicted by this because now that we've done the first bit of the show, and the first thing we saw was the Messenger. And
sorry, can I just interject here? I'd like to pick up on Tanith's comment. He said,
Go.
"These things are going to end up in bank vaults."
Yeah.
And that to me is the issue with it. They're not. Oh, there may be some people. Hans Zimmer might pick one up. You know, Tai Unwin might pick one up, and lots of other people who've got enough to be able to say, "Oh yeah, I can do this." But that price just to me was just cynical, and I will put out my apologies, but say I'm sorry. Yeah, it looks like, you know, investors from the United Arab Emirates or other places will go, "Oh, we'll have one of those, we'll stick it in, and then in 10 years' time, it'll be worth 50,000 quid." Way.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I'm not making an excuse for it. It's like this is just how it is.
It is
You know,
how it is, and
why
it makes
a
me slightly
Rolex
sad.
costs what it costs over a Timex?
Yeah.
You know.
so making the contrary case and a different case, two different cases here. One is,
Devil's advocate. Go ahead.
yeah, one is,
Yeah, all right.
one is if they're being hand built, which they say they are,
Yep.
then the time it takes to build one of these and the kind of money they want to make to be able to, you know, for two people to make this and, you know, it's like having a custom made synth, and it's probably about the right price if that's what you wanted, but they could get it manufactured. That's the thing, but then that's not what they're doing. So if you want one built by them rather than in another factory somewhere else, with their hands all over every component, everything selected, tuned and put together by them, 10K's about the price you would be expecting. My issue with that, and it's partly with what you say, but, you know, they've got pensions. They're not getting any younger. Maybe they want to build their pension pot up. Maybe they want it to be exclusive. Who knows? But had they wanted to, they could have put this with any number of manufacturers, and they could have done what Moog have just done with the Messenger and create this as a sub £1,000 something with PPG on it and sold 1 billion units, you know, a gazillion units.
No, that's not what it's for.
You're right, Andy. There's also the
Sorry.
if you give a 5-year-old a Stradivarius violin, it's going to sound just as awful as the 45 quid violin they could have bought from the school shop. Are you with me? So maybe in the hands of the real attuned synthesis, this will be absolutely the thing. should synthesizers be as instruments be any different from, say, something like a Stradivarius violin? I don't know. Maybe I'm arguing against myself here.
So let me interrupt you there, just because I think you are arguing against yourself, because
I am.
you've just put your finger on it, and Kent was, I'm sure, going to say something similar, or at least hint at something similar, which is it is an instrument. It's not a synth. It's an instrument. It's hand built like a Stradivarius, or like a custom built PRS guitar, or any of those things. This is a hand built analog something by the two people that invented it originally and built it originally when it was very small numbers, and they're doing it again. So it is an instrument. It's something that's crafted with love, and if you don't want it, it's fine. It's absolutely fine.
Well, I mean, when the PPG modulars were originally out and about, you know, as you know, I remember Hans saying about it. It's exactly the same thing. Where if you think it's too expensive, it's not the synthesizer for you. That's it. You know, if you think it's too expensive, it's not the synth you want to buy. You know, it's
and that's
like going into a car showroom.
That's like the Moog One. It's like the Moog One. If it's too expensive, and it's like the analog solutions, the TC25, TC5000, or the Colossus. If it's too expensive, it's not the one for you.
No, this is true. I mean, maybe it's a matter of scale, but I can understand why something like the Colossus costs what it does, and without it even being a question mark in my head. But when I look at this.
Yeah,
and
I know.
There isn't even a single patch point on it. Well, in other words, there are a handful in the top right-hand corner, and I'm thinking, it's a mono synth.
Yeah,
and that's my problem. And I'm sorry if I offend anybody, and I don't mean to pour any unpleasant liquids over the creators of this, because. Let's be honest. I mean, I know synth history, and I really do respect people like Wolfgang Palm, who should be up there with, you know, and is up there with the greats of synthesizer history. I just thought, whoa, that's my problem. That's all. I'm sorry, I've said my piece.
Do you know this sounds, and we see this a lot. This sounds a little bit like, well, I can't afford it, you bastards. I want it, but I can't afford it. I know you would love to have one of these. I know you would, because it is Tangerine Dream, and so would I. PPG made brilliant.
I'll go lie down on your couch.
People make. PPG have made brilliant analog modular stuff. They did, and this is just one of those units from that. But I mean, you know, so we've got hung up here a little bit on that. Sonically, it is a lovely thing. It's a gorgeous sounding thing, and it always has been. And it does do things that are quite unique. But it's handcrafted by him. So it's, if you can afford it, you can. If you can't, you can't. It is an instrument.
This is true.
No, I mean, honestly, I think I could handcraft something like that, and it max with profit would be 2K. It's not the handcrafting that's making it 10. It's the fact that it's him. It's the pair of them. It's them. It's analog. It's hand built. Blah 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 blah, and it's got PPG written on the front. I did restore a 1002 system that was, oh god, it's got to be 8 foot by 4 cab.
Wow.
And no keyboard. And I know for a fact it went for just a shade under £250,000. Just to give you an idea. And then you look at that and you go, oh, that's not that expensive, is it?
Yeah, well...
So, you know, the desirability, you know, the whole thing, you're like, I want to own a Rolls Royce.
Yeah. I'm just glad it's out. Glad it's out in the world. I'm glad it's out in the world. If people want to buy it, they will. And, you know, if people want to pay that and are able to pay that, good luck to them. It's an instrument. Yeah. It's an instrument. I can buy a piano for 50 quid, or I can buy a piano for £150,000. Yeah. You know, I'd like the Bosendorfer, but I'll settle for my mate selling one down the pub. You know, it's fine. It's fine. So should we get
from where we're standing? It does feel like a slap in the face, doesn't it? It does feel like a slap in the face, but no, that's just the way. There's a market up there, and it's not for me. Sorry.
Yeah. So look, that's the £10,000 end of things. Should we look at something a little more budget friendly?
It might be less controversial. Yeah,
I think it might. So let's have a look at this. So this is the news of the new Novation are releasing a Swifty branded base station. So they're just releasing this out. This is going out at 449, and it's whether or not you like the graphics. We know that this is a brilliant sounding thing, and was very popular. It was a very odd beastie, this, because when it came out, it was at a time when analog synthesis was really, it had taken a nosedive. But when this came out, everyone had to have one. And it's not been made for a while. I mean, they did a limited edition release back in 2019 of another thing. I can't remember who that was. Aphex Twin, that's right. And this is another one of those. And this guy is a graphic designer. He's worked with Loaded and various other magazines. It's graphic design. So it's a triumph of graphic design, but if you like it, is there something, I mean, it's 449. The base station itself is a great, great thing. Any thoughts about this, gents?
Not a great deal.
Not something that would interest you?
No. I'm not saying that it wouldn't interest a lot of people, but yeah, it's not for my neck of the woods, to be honest.
I do. I'm going to jump in again. I'm sorry. Hands up. I love Novation design. Doug. The original base station looks fantastic. The base station 2, with all its blue, looks fantastic. The new version-ish that they did, the Aphex Twin one, which was all black, looked fantastic. This looks like a Timberwolf without the panache. It's minging.
Oh, them fighting
minging.
Words, boy.
Them there's fighting words. Do you know what? I have to side with you on this. I think I love Novation stuff, but I think this just looks like a child's toy.
It's gross.
I like the base station. It's a good thing, but I've got it covered with the Supernova, so I don't need to have one of these. But it's a good thing. 449. It feels like it's a 250, 300 quid, 400. Yeah, I'm not sure how much more you're paying for that, but it's a good thing. Yeah, the base station is a great thing. It's going to be about whether or not people like the look of it, and I think it's going to split the crowd. Love to know, what are people saying in the chat? I've not been looking. So does anyone in the chat like this?
Just having Kosh's response to me. Thanks, Kosh. Yeah, but it's fine. I'm sorry. Novation, what are you thinking? Where are we? Hang on, there we go. Moog source color scheme on a base station. That's kind of what it is, only not as nice. It looks like it's been drawn on with crayon. Dean has just asked, what does it sound like? It'll sound like a base station, and the original base station of the base station 2 sounded great, and it looked great, and they've done this to it. It's just a travesty. I'm sorry. Okay,
yeah.
I'll stop being controversial and being negative about things. But
hello, where's Kent gone? So it's. I mean, yeah. I'm a little divided about this. I'm just going to remove Kent for the moment because don't know what he's up to. It's a Novation base station. They're always good. They're always golden. It's a wonderful sounding thing. So, if you want a base station, get it. If it's down to whether or not you buy this or you go and find one on the second-hand market. And there's a lot of them out there on the second-hand market that are still working. And, we'll have to see how it goes. But that is, let's get rid of that. That is the base station. It's on pre-order now. If you want to order it, go to pre-order on the on the page, the Novation page, and you can get yourself one of these little beasties anytime you like. So let's get rid of that because we've covered that off. What else is there to talk about? There's quite a lot, really, but we are running out of time. I hope young Kent, there he is, he's back again. Groove synth, we covered that briefly. Let's just quickly bring that up because I think we've covered that, and we'll probably go into more detail on this once Robbie gets back. But this is a good thing. This is a good thing. Being able to get the third wave at a price that's somewhat low. Yes, it's about half the price of the full keyboard. It's only 8 voices, so I say only. It's 8 voices as opposed to 24. It does have a full complement of most things. It only does 2 parts rather than 4 parts, so multi-timbrality. But it has all the same number of oscillators. It's just that you're having to switch between them, as you can see on the front panel here. You're using one control section on the top right here. Let's see if we can zoom in on that, or if we can get there. We go. So there you've got one control for the oscillators, and you can switch from 1, 2 and 3, and the same thing for the filter and for the envelopes rather. But it's got this gorgeous, rather big 7-inch screen, which is bigger than, I think it's bigger than on the original. The sounds are compatible between this and the full-blown groove 3D, third wave rather, and it's going to be shipping in July of this year for $1,999. So that means it's going to be about, what, 1,500 quid, something like that, 1,100 quid. To get a third wave in a box like this for under $2,000 is brilliant. Is brilliant. I've always wanted the third wave because it sounds so good and the synthesis on it is absolutely stunning. But it was just a bit pricey. It was, do I get that? Do I get the PB12? This is now something that's suddenly starting to look affordable. Any thoughts? Here we go.
Even I'm vaguely interested in that.
Let's go with you. Go on.
Yeah, go with Kent.
I'm drawn to its huge screen.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah. Thank you, at last, people who realise that some of us have to wear bleeding glasses.
This is, do you know, sorry, let me just come to, do you know what this is? This is, so here we go. This is the sports car thing. That's what this is, which is, by the time you can afford the sports car that you really love, you really want to have, the Jaguar F-Type or whatever it is, or the Aston Martin, you're so old that you need to have those big displays which are really bright and really big, so that, because they know their customer is going to be aging and their eyesight's knackered. That's what it is with this. I'm just wondering if that's what it is for you and me, Kent, that we're so old we need a big screen.
Apparently,
Matt says turn your mic up.
Yeah, it wasn't the mic needs to go up. It was I need to get nearer to the mic. I think that's probably what was required from me.
I did it.
But yeah, no, I agree, Andrew. It's just one of those old bastards trying to look at these tiny little 1-inch by 3-inch screens, going, "What the hell was that say?"
See, I can see this being part of, if in the form factor that it comes in, I could see this being something which you would potentially, or I would potentially use this as part of an EMOM, because it would be such a unique sound set. What's your thoughts on that, young Booksy?
What I would say to Novation, that's how you do blue.
Isn't it?
And actually, Novation knew how to do blue. Look. They could do blue perfectly nicely way back in the day without having some funky designer do something minging. Anyway, right, back to this. I think it's fantastic. What a great thing. Yeah, the fact that you can, and again, maybe I am being, maybe I am contradicting myself, but the third wave is a very expensive machine. We know why it's expensive. And actually, if you want a bit of that, £2,000 for an 8-voice polyphonic synth, digital, with an amazing looking interface. It has to be said, Kent, I thought you nailed that with about the screen. I think this just looks the business, and I'm not horrible about everything. Believe me, I'm not. In spite of trying very hard tonight.
In spite of trying very hard, but I have nights like that. Kent, just do me a favour, do a mic check because I've just turned you up in the control panel.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's better.
That's
better.
Hello. Well, hello.
Thank you, Robbie, for noticing that. I thought you were going to bed. Have you both finished already? Are you having a post-coital?
Not a pub.
Okay.
Not a pub.
So there we go. So yeah, I think that's an absolutely stunning thing, and it's something which I'm very tempted by. So let's get rid of that and see what else we've got. We've still got loads of stuff, and if we don't cover stuff this week, it's fine. I'm just picking the sort of juicier bits. What have we got? Well, this is interesting, actually.
Okay.
Let me bring this up because this is an interesting thing. If I can find it on here, where are we? We've covered you.
While you're doing that, did you see the donation?
No, I didn't, but I can bring those up. We'll cover donations momentarily.
Looks like Steve the bastard.
Well, Steve always does. He's just such a tart. And you've got to love him for it. So, yeah, let's just deal with this quickly because this is kind of interesting. And we've covered a lot of hardware so far. And this is kind of a mix of both. So, add to the stage. There we go. So, Native Instruments announce NKS support for Arturia controllers. So, NKS support is fast becoming the kind of standard for controlling and being able to play back and see and do things with virtual instruments on various different doors. And NKS has been a format that a lot of people have taken on board. I know that, there we go, Akai Professional, Novation, Korg, Nectar and M Audio. And now Arturia is joining the party. So they are looking at the integration at Superbooth as we speak, and they've got a lot of new. They've got the Mark IIIs coming out. A lot of different prices on here. Everything from I think it's €144 for the essentials, all the way through to whatever you want to pay. There we go. There's 976, 525. So lots of different Arturia keylabs and keylab essentials. But these will now support NKS. Does that make enough of a difference to make people want to go and buy the Arturia stuff? Because these are great. They're making some great keyboards at the moment, although some might say that they're missing on the poly aftertouch thing. But aside from that, they're doing great things with these. Does the fact that it now supports NKS fascinate or intrigue or tempt you, Kent? Because I know you're a fan of the Arturia V collection, etc. What's your thoughts on this?
I have to be honest, I'd have to go with the complete control over this. Because the Poly AT on the Mark III, but also the screen that shows you the actual instrument that you're currently on as well. Because you go through the various instruments and it updates the screen and you have controls there as if you were looking at the screen.
Well, if you have the keylab, if you have the Mark III keylabs, they do have screens. They're not particularly large.
Right.
Okay. But they do have screens, so you can see that stuff, and stuff is mapped to all the controllers. So, and I think also with the probably with the Astrolab, is it Astro? Not Astrolab. Keylab. What's the other one that's coming? Keylab Essential, and Minilab. No, so it is just those.
Right.
I mean,
even at that point where, all right, I mean, giving it NKS support will make them obviously more attractive. But I would also, on the other side of that coin, say that if somebody was a heavy Native Instruments user, they would already have a controller to hand. And it would probably be a complete control. And if it is, this is not going to turn their heads.
So here's the thing. What I'm thinking about this is clearly this will allow these keyboards to respond to and bring in NKS standard sample packs or instruments, whatever, and control them. I'm just wondering whether Arturia is also looking at doing something whereby it means that their V collection is playable on all the other things as well, because it's following the NKS standard. Now I think they're already doing that, if I'm not wrong, or were planning to do that to make the V collection NKS compatible at some point. Am I wrong about that? Or
well, maybe they are.
That then would make perfect sense.
Yeah, I mean, currently, Native Instruments does not see the Arturia instruments. Well, at least on my one, it doesn't anyway.
Okay, well, maybe that's coming. Maybe that's what they're talking about.
Might be something around the corner, yeah.
The fact is, with all the different sample libraries out there and all the different standards and different engines for playback, some way of bringing about some sort of conformity and standardization can only be a good thing. Look at that. Steve Elbows, thank you, matey. V collection instruments already support NKS. So there we go. So this is just, if this is spreading it out so that Native have managed to bring this standard about, which everyone is beginning to use, that can only be a good thing. It's now just about what feedback you're getting and whether or not the screen is large enough. And I think you're right, the control is looking like a better option for that at the moment. Although the Korg stuff was pretty good as well, as far as I remember. But anyway, that is that. Let's see what else we've got. We've still got loads that we could bring up. I think some people saw, let me bring this up. This is a good thing. Have we got it here? Sure we have. Super critical. Yes, we do. Here we go. Right, let me present this. So you'll all have seen, if this is something which you happen to love and adore, which I think an awful lot of people do. Here we go. Let me bring this up. So Supercritical Redshift 6. It's now multi-timbral, so 6-part multi-timbrality. If you've already got one, I think you can do a firmware update which adds this all in. This is a good thing because I know that people were talking about this, and I think that brings an awful lot to the Redshift. And do you remember, was it last Superbooth? Everyone was trying to get onto this and play around with it, and it's a good looking thing. Does multi-timbrality make it more attractive? I'm just trying to see what else they've got going on in this box with that firmware. Blah, 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 blah. I think Robbie's covered most of it in here. So it is a decent sounding synth. And by adding, again, this has got a decent looking screen as well. That's something which is really good about this. I like the controllers on this. So anyone else got any thoughts on this and the fact that now the latest firmware will bring up to six voices of multi-timbrality? Does that matter to anyone here? Have you any thoughts about the Redshift?
I don't know much about it, but I will say that
which is funny because you're being super critical tonight. You see what I did there? See.
No, I didn't. But okay, that's cool.
It's called the Redshift Super Critical, Andy.
Oh, is it? Oh, lovely. All I was going to say was that multi-timbrality is something that's generally almost fallen off the discussion of things, because you think back in the late 1980s and 1990s, every single module that came out was 8 or 16 part multi-timbral. Whether it was an MT32 or a TX81Z or a JV1080, these were all multi-timbral because it meant you had a box and you could use it for multiple things. And actually, if you are going to spend your hard-earned cash on one box, being able to have it do 3, 4, 5, 6, however many different synth parts or sound parts makes a lot of sense. And I'm quite surprised that aspect of implementation in synthesizers has actually sort of gone away a little bit. Maybe it's as a direct result of the fact that the computer can have 1,001 instances of any synth plugin running. I suspect that's part of it, but the fact that they've decided to implement this in their product, I think is a good thing.
So do I. I mean,
not negative at all.
It's not the cheapest instrument in the world, but it does sound amazing as a 6-voice synth. It's what, around about £1,000, just over £1,000, £1,200.
Just in response to Bicky, who's mentioned the MC707, groove boxes and those sort of things have always kept the multi-timbrality aspect within them, even things like the Electribes and so on, and that's a good aspect of those as performance devices, and I think this is following on from that, really, or at least picking up on the fact that multi-timbrality has been sort of lost. So why not implement it?
Kent. Multi-timbrality.
Yeah, I mean, agree with what Andrew's saying. I mean, for me personally, I don't get on with little boxes.
I beg your pardon?
I really don't get along with little boxes.
Right.
I prefer the older woman. So
not a pub.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's probably because it feels late. No, I like a full figured keyboard.
Here's the thing.
I don't get on with little boxes.
Here's the thing. I love the Supercritical, and I'd be absolutely delighted to be able to run 6 instances of it as separate sequences, doing arpeggios or whatever. Doing the whole thing, because it sounds great when you use it for that. It's very good as a poly as well, but being able to run it as 6 monosynths or 3 monosynths with whatever, I think this is a really, really good thing that they've done. And one can only hope that they do more. More people do more of this. Great synth and a very welcome update, I would say. Yeah. So let's stop definitely. That. What else do we have apart from that? Superbooth, critical, blah blah blah. The boys mentioned. Here's the thing. I'm still not sure what this is. I'm going to just quickly bit through to this. Here we go. Let's just bring this up because we are running low on time. Gosh knows how. But there we go. This is the Bento.
Is it?
Yeah, go away. Thank you. Here we go. And add to stage. Bang. This is the Bento. Yep. So this is what Robbie and Peter were talking about. It's 899 and it's 8 tracks. It's essentially a portable recording, sampling, sequencing thing with lots of sample packs and or presets already loaded. But you can use it as a sequencer, as a recorder, as a sampler, all sorts of different things. I'm still not sure I've got a sense of this, and I would love to. I've not been able to find a video of it particularly. I mean, I've seen there's a couple of videos, but I've not got a sense of how this is working. Do either of you know anything more about it than was said to us by Robbie and Pete?
Happy to jump in again if it doesn't sound like me just shouting me gob off.
Well, jump in.
1010 Music. And well, I know that their boxes are popular. Lots of people have them either as Eurorack modules or as standalone units. Even Robbie has the 1010 blue box mixer, and I think he's got the 1010 black box sampler. This is like the black box, or as it's called in Eurorack, the bit box on steroids. And I took one look at this and listened to the videos and was going, absolutely, this is fab. And at the price that they're bringing it in, which some people think is steep, but the black box itself is about 600 quid. So the fact that this is coming in at about 800 plus isn't a big jump. And I can't wait. And what happens with 1010 is they put them out as separate boxes, and then they bring them into Eurorack. And if they bring this out as a Eurorack module, I'm telling you, I'm going to be saving my pennies to go there, because I've got a bit box in my rack, and I love it to bits. It's got some limitations, and this box overcomes all of those.
Well,
I absolutely think it's fantastic.
I was going to say that we've had a lot of guests on modular, people that use modular, who have sworn by the blue box as well as the black box, and they say it's part of their rig, their setup, and I know you do as well. So even if this is not, I mean, when you say if it's set up for modular, do you mean that it's got CV ins and outs as well?
It does have CV in and out, but actually, I mean, even this standalone box is it's basically a groove box, a sample based groove box, really, and those pads which have got the aftertouch and all those things built into it,
and pressure.
Pressure. Is there a difference?
Yeah, pressure. So. Sorry, same thing.
So I got confused. No, there isn't a fight, and but it's. As soon as I saw the first video I watched this, I thought, oh, brilliant! I mean, if 1010 are going to update those things which have actually been around quite a while now, this is a great way to do it. And I suspect, from my point of view, I won't be buying this as a standalone box. But I really do think when that filters down into their next Eurorack sample or sample-based module, I'm going to be all over it, because I love the Bitbox so much that and the Blue Box mixer. This just speaks my language. This is wonderful. Yeah, it's great.
Well, that's good to hear. So. What I was saying about pressure, and I got a little confused because I was busy looking. I know we've only got 5 minutes left. What I meant by that was each of the pads can have separate modulation associated with each pad. So each pad can do different things, can actually trigger different events and add modulation to different aspects of the engine. So that's a good thing. Let me just get rid of that. Thank you very much. The last thing, we're just on 5 minutes before we're supposed to stop. So let's get rid of that. Let's bring this up. This is just delving into the, very briefly, into what Robbie and Peter were talking about, which is this beastie, the Magnolia. Now, they said they heard it. I have to say that when I heard the demo, I thought it sounded a bit sort of thin and weedy and digital. But they're saying not. They're saying it sounds massive. So I would love to get their input. I love these knobs, by the way, and the way it looks. There is this vogue at the moment for having this sort of off-white colour, magnolia colour, which is what's on the PB12 as well. But it's a lovely looking thing. And again, this is another modular bunch of guys that make modular that have moved into keyboard and hardware. This looks like it's going to be around just under $4,000, but 8 voices with some unique controls, etc. Is this something that anyone here is fascinated by, wants to know more? I mean, I want to know a lot more about it.
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
I'd like to know more. I don't know enough.
No, neither do I. But then we're at 4 minutes. 4 minutes before we stop. So the Magnolia, I think
as a Eurorack manufacturer, make quite high-end modules that do loads of really weird and interesting things. They're one of those things.
Through zero FM stuff.
All sorts of bits and bobs. They really do. My only thing about this is the name. The Magnolia to me equals really bland. And I just thought Magnolia, and it's probably an amazing sound. Like Robbie himself said, it sounds fantastic. I'll go with it, but I don't like the name. I'm sorry, okay, so that's the colour of it.
Magnolias are trees as well, and they take forever to grow. And when they do grow, they last forever. They flower once a year, and it's beautiful. They don't last very long, but they are absolutely gorgeous.
But most people associate Magnolia with a very bland paint, like my wall back there.
So, and like the PB12 that Kent's sitting beside, and like the Mask One, and like a whole bunch of other stuff that's come out. So look, you may not like the name. I'm fascinated to see what this is about, and I want to see how it sounds. I want to get a sense of the bigness, the analogness of it as well, which I've not seen anything which really shows that. But next week, we'll doubtless get the full lowdown from Robbie and from Peter and from anyone else that happens to be coming in. And I'm going to stop sharing that now because I don't need to. Because guess what? We are pretty close to the end of the show. There are other things which we could have talked about. There's we did talk about the launch keys. Actually, do you know what? I think we've covered most things that were there. I know that there's something about Paulie Alex Bow's Autism Rights song. We've run out of time on this, but I'm sure we'll play it next week. And I want to make sure that people get a chance to see that. Paulie Alex Bow's got he does some great stuff. And, it would be good to be able to mention that. Maybe we can pop this in the chat. Do you have the sheet there? Andy, could you pop it into the chat so that people can go and have a look?
The sheet? No, I've closed it down, so I'm going to have to...
Okay, not a problem. I'm going to go to comments. I hope that this is what was intended. I'm going to post this so that people can take a look. Do go and have a look at it. It
is good.
And we can talk about it more. It'd be good to get Paulie on at some point just to work out what's going on there. But gentlemen, we've got about a minute to go. So instead of me blithering on, tell me, what have you got planned? First of all, what's happening over the weekend? I know there's going to be Symptoms of Reality tonight, as ever. We've got Matey Boy tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, Synth will be on. Ranz will be on in the afternoon.
Ranz is on. Yeah, Ranz is always good.
Jamie's on Sunday. I think he's back on this Sunday.
And we've got, of course, the wonderful Jason Get Jervis on Sunday evening at 10 o'clock. Synth and pajama synthy things. Are you going to do a pub this weekend, Ken?
I might be doing oh my God, I think we're going to get the Mustang to start pub.
That will be interesting.
Tomorrow, if the battery charger actually arrives.
I may actually join you on that.
Well, we did it this afternoon, but we couldn't get the bloody thing to turn over, so...
That's what happens with guzzlers. So listen, do you have any other plans for the weekend other than the Mustang, young Kent?
Yeah, I have to do some more to the project track that I'm working on. What else? Probably do some more to that mini Moog, etc., etc. Bits and bobs and doobies and whatnots, essentially.
Okay, so it looks like it's you and me. Andy looks like he's gone for a comfort break.
What the hell
right
was he
at the end of the
drinking
show. Yeah, his liver and kidneys are working very well. So look, I think I'm going to be doing some music. I've got some stuff to do. I've got some I want to do some more work on the ANX and some of the other stuff. I'm busy building a rack to go under here. I'm looking at swapping out this wonderful naval table for a keyboardy, workstation stand thing.
All right.
And then, he's back. Look at that.
I am. I'm sorry about that.
And so you should be. So we're done. Have you got any plans for the weekend? And can you keep it short and sweet?
Yeah, going to Grace's tomorrow to do some jamming. We're playing at the EMOM Festival in Leeds next weekend. I think, if I've got my dates right. hopefully there's about 50 different artists playing over the weekend at this particular venue in Leeds, which I now can't remember. But if you're interested, check out the EMOM page and it will give you the details. But we will be there along with lots of other people from all around the country, and I'm very looking forward to it.
Right, that was good and sweet and short. So I've got three more things just to announce first, which is Dr. Akins. I hope it's Akins or Akins. Thank you for the $5 super sticker. Cool. Every penny counts, keeping the show on the road. Then we have the Hand of Lenin. Thank you so much for the £1.99, you cheap bugger. Where's the other penny? Where is it?
You didn't do that as good as Robbie.
Oh, no.
You need to practice it.
Hand of Lenin. Felmius Gents. And also, oh my gosh, Don, look at this. We have got Steve the Bastard. 50 Australian dollars. That's almost £6. Almost £6. Steve, you are a constant supporter of the show. Thank you so much. And can I just say to Steve, what is it? I am cake. I am cake. You'll get it. We'll no doubt catch up soon, but in the meantime, I think we're going to get rid of that. We're going to come back to this, and I am going to line things up so that we're ready to leave you all. So thank you all very much for joining us. Sorry, it was a bit of a shambles. Robbie will be back next week. Go and watch all the other wonderful folk here in Synthland, and check out Sonic State. That's 30 years. That will be good to see. And Robbie will be back next week with Peter and hopefully some other people as well to give us a review of everything that's going on. So with that, we're going to say cheerio.
Cheerio all. Take care. See you soon.
Bye.